Hello and welcome to Gank That
Gank
Drank,
That Drank,
a supernatural drinking game podcast. It's the podcast where Nate and Krissy recap episodes of Supernatural for you. We make up drinking game rules. We tell you how the rules played out, and then we tell you what's coming next time on the pod, what the next episode is and what the rules are for that. That's how the pod goes. That's what the pod is. That's how the pod goes.
That's what we do. And we doing it.
It's what we do. And we doing it. And thank you for listening. Hey, I do want to say up at the top, I'm going to push real hard in the next couple episodes to get some reviews on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening, if you're a fan of the pod, give us a review on Apple Podcasts. We would really love it. And if you're a super duper fan, become a member and you can get our awesome bonus chats after the episode where we talk about our lessons learned in each episode and just have some fun extra chit chats.
Yeah, it's always a good
You
time.
can find out about all of that at True Story FM, truestory.fm, trustory.fm. Hey, who's that over there in the corner getting ready to do some ganking and drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking in the corner apparently today. This is Nate McWhorter of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater, and who's that over there ganking and drinking, pointing out me in the corner?
In the other corner, it's Krissy Lenz, also of the Neighborhood Comedy Theater. I don't know why there's so many corners in here where we're drinking.
We're in a weird
it's
room.
Corner
with
fest.
Corners. It's an octagonal shaped room. There are many.
We're in the Winchester mansion.
Ooh, it's gonna have to be a discussion for next episode because but I have some thoughts about the Winchesters' kitchen in the bunker. Anyway,
okay.
Yeah, there's some thoughts on that, but that's gonna have to be that's a little teaser for the next episode. What episode are we watching today, though, Krissy?
Today we're doing season 4, episode 5, Monster Movie. Yes. It's the episode before Yellow Fever.
Oh, that's so funny because the next episode that we're gonna do is literally the one right after the one we just did. I'm doing 2 in a row again.
Oh,
Spoilers.
yay!
I'm doing 2 in a row.
I do back to backers, but I take the big spaces.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do a back to back again. But yeah. So this is right before Yellow Fever. You said
it is
the one right. Nice.
All right.
Well, this is a classic.
Are you ready
episode.
to hear our? It is. It's a classic in every possible way. Are you ready to hear the rules?
I am ready for us to go over the rules.
All right. Anytime someone says the word monster, take a drink.
God damn you, Krissy.
That's going to be our heavy hitter this episode.
One of the heaviest hitters of all time, possibly.
Oh, really? Maybe there were some that I missed. Anytime there's a SMOOCHY napkin, take a drink. Take a drink for the agent names. Take a drink anytime someone says vampire. Take a drink for a big pretzel. Take a drink for a comically large cup. Take a double drink or a shot when Dean discusses being RE-HYMENATED.
Yeah.
Take a drink whenever a monster kills. Take a drink for a tiny bucket. Take a drink for Drac on a scooter. Waterfall for the intermission. Take a drink when the villain monologues. And finally, take a drink when someone says gank. When they say gank,
a lot of rules for this episode.
You take a drink. It's a lot of rules. It's a lot of rules. I couldn't stop myself. I just kept making up rules.
It happens. Yeah. Well, I say we get into it because this one is not just one of my favorites, not just one of your favorites. According to the Wikipedia, it's also one of Jared Padalecki's favorite episodes. So
that's right.
We
don't want to let Jared down.
No, we don't. And I am so looking forward to your recap because I just absolutely
Okay.
adore and love this. I almost just want to watch it again right after we're done.
Okay, so we start with the credits on a stormy sky in black and white. We see the moon. It's eerie. It's creepy. It's getting us full of dread. We pan down to Baby driving up a lonely road. The sign says Pennsylvania, but what's that? In a flash of light, it says Transylvania.
Transylvania. Also, we're in black and white.
We're in black and white. There's eerie music playing as the boys drive. It's like dun 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 dun. And Jensen goes, "Oh, the local radio around here sucks," and turns it off.
They're like listening to the classical station. He just
Yeah.
is like, nope, there's no other state. It's all classical, apparently. It's all
Yep.
old 50s movie soundtracks.
They've got a hell of a case they're going to investigate. There's a victim with a knot on neck, and the witnesses saw a vampire. Sammy seems a little bit reluctant because, the world is coming to an end. Shouldn't they be paying attention to that? Dean, as ever, is like, well, what can we do today? Today, we can do a good old-fashioned monster hunt. It's a black and white case. Iris out. We know we're in for something special here. Cut to Oktoberfest 2008. What?
So I want to interject. I watched this episode last night, and I came home from a work meeting, and the work meeting was literally launching this year's Oktoberfest beers because we're a little early, but we sell the beer, so it's got to be we got to do it early anyway. So I literally came from an Oktoberfest themed meeting, came home and watched this episode, which has Oktoberfest prominently
weird.
displayed in it. So I thought it was kind of appropriate.
How weird in this record-setting heat to be celebrating Oktoberfest at your work.
Yeah. I mean, we're not quite celebrating it yet, but getting people ready to celebrate it because we gotta. Anyway, it is weird that yes, it's a billion degrees outside and has been for 3 weeks in a row, and I drank a Marzen, which is also fine in the heat.
What
It's
is
not
it
that
called?
bad, honestly. A Marzen, that's the traditional Oktoberfest style beer, is a Bavarian Marzen or a German Marzen style. It's meant to be drank at like big outdoor festivals in Bavaria, where it's like a lot cooler than Phoenix, Arizona, but like, sun's out, it's still kind of get steamy. And
Okay.
anyway, sorry to get us distracted, but
No,
the
it's
Marzen
fine.
was flowing in Transylvania or Pennsylvania for the boys. Transl, yeah.
It was. There's tourists. There's girls in costume. The boys get a big pretzel, take a drink.
Big pretzel.
And it only happens once, so you don't need to watch for it anymore. But it's it's part of the theme of the generally over and undersized things in this episode. The oversized pretzel. Yeah. They spot the sheriff and give their agent's name as Agents Angus and Young from AC/DC.
Just one person from AC/DC.
Just one person from AC/DC. Take a drink.
It's literally both his names. They could have said, and he literally said it as they said, "We're Agents Angus and Young." They could have said Young and Angus, and it would have I was like, how does the cop not come on now, come on? You're telling me that cop doesn't know who Angus Young is? He must not. Anyway,
he must not. They go to the morgue with the sheriff. He's like, oh, this is the last thing this town needs. And Sammy is like, well, it's definitely the last thing she needed. It's like, okay, chill out a little bit.
the
sheriff calls him.
We're season 4. Lots of bad Dean comments.
Yeah. The sheriff calls the bad guy some Anne Rice reading, Satan worshipping, gothic psycho murderer. It's this whole string of, but I love that he called him an Anne Rice reading, Satan worshipping, gothic psycho. Yeah. They go to talk to the witnesses at the bar where Dean flirts with Jamie when they give their agent name again, take a drink, or they flash their badges. he says, I'm a maverick, a rebel with a badge. The one thing I don't play by, the rules.
The rules.
The rules. It's so
It's so
cheesy.
cheesy, so good. Yeah,
So
but so fun.
They're talking to Mr. Ed Brewer, and he's got a huge cup. He's got
Yes,
one of
he's got
those
the
huge,
giant Stein.
like
Yeah.
Stein.
Yes, and his
And
name
he's
is
like,
Ed Brewer.
yep. And he's like, nobody believes me. I'm a town joke. He was cutting through the park on the way home, and he saw a couple struggling. And they're like, oh, did you see the bad guy? He's like, oh, he was a vampire. A vampire? A vampire. Fancy cape, a little medallion, the accent, like a Dracula. Yeah, like a Dracula. Stay away, mortal. The night is mine. And they're like, okay, obviously this is some kind of Anne Rice wannabe. It's not our kind of case. We do see a smoochy napkin, so take a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Dean gets a beer from Jamie, and they, even though they think it's not a real case, they decide they're going to stay the night
The
anyway.
comically large cup.
Comically
Dean,
large
even,
cups.
Yeah, even the like steins that they serve at this bar are like comically large. I mean, another Oktoberfest steins, but like they're comically large.
Yes, so take a drink for the big cups. There's a lot of drinking in this episode.
Yes, there is. Also, I was like, good thing you didn't play the take a drink when they drink in this episode because
Because they're
you'd
drinking
have
the
been
whole
drinking
time.
a lot. Yeah.
So Dean and Sammy are sitting there having a drink, discussing how they're going to stay in town. And Dean is remarking about how he came out of hell with no scars, no old bullet wounds, no old knife wounds. His fingers aren't all broken like they used to be. He's as smooth as a baby's bottom, which leads him to believe that he is a virgin again because he's been re-hymenated,
RE-HYMENATED.
which is gross.
Just bad. Just bad. Bad.
Yep. So Sammy decides to go back to the room. Dean tries to get a date with Jamie and gets shot down.
Which was great.
Yeah. She says later, you can't go out with a guy who tries to pick you up the first time.
Yeah. Gotta make him work.
Got to make him work for it. Got to try at least 2 times. So we cut to a park where a couple is parked making out. She hears a wolf. Oh, she hears a wolf in the background. The boy is like very inappropriately talking about how he's going to get blue balls if she doesn't put out, which is also very gross.
It was gross. I give them a pass on the it seems like they're really trying to go for this like 1950s kind of trope with it.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it seemed like. So I was like, okay. Like it was a gross lie. I was less weirded out by. I mean, no, I was really weirded out because like I was like this is what used to literally get said. Like I think it is good commentary, whereas Dean's re-hymenated line is just gross.
Yeah.
I think I like, even though like this dude like creeped me out a lot or whatever, and like that obviously that comment's just awful, but like I feel like there's like a weird line where it's like, oh, this was actually like tongue in cheek, or this was done satirically, whereas the other line was just seemed like they wanted to get that phrase or whatever.
Yeah.
In there. Like,
if you don't get the stuff out of you, it gets all backed up and you can have all kinds of medical problems. Gross.
I mean, that's the old old dudes used to use that line back in the day, and now you don't get to use that because everyone knows science and facts, and also
and she's like,
don't be creepy.
I hear a wolf again, and he's like, there are no wolves in Pennsylvania. As a wolf tears him out of the car and rips him bit by bit, rips him into tiny bits and tiny pieces.
There's wolves everywhere. That's what I thought.
There's wolves everywhere.
There's no wolves in Pennsylvania. What?
Everybody gets wolves.
Everyone has wolves.
So they're interviewing the girl, and she has a comically large cup that she's sipping on.
Yes, she does.
And she's like, it was a werewolf. It had the furry face and the black nose and the ripped up clothes. It was like a movie werewolf. Like from the old movies.
Yeah.
They go look at the body and it's all torn up, but the heart is still there. So the boys are like, what the hell? What is going on here? They're eating at the bar, discussing the case. Jamie brings them huge glasses of beer again.
Mm-hmm.
And since they decided to stay on the case, she makes a date with Dean, who wonders aloud if this Dracula can turn into a bat. Which makes me think of What We Do in the Shadows. Bat?
Still, that is next on the list to watch for sure.
Oh, it's great.
Yes, I
Cut
watched
to a
the bear
museum.
first.
Oh, come on. You got to get to What We Do in the Shadows. There's new episodes coming out now.
Well, I know, and I'm gonna watch it, and it's just that there's so much more of that than there was of the bear, so I was able to do 2 seasons of the bear real quick. What We Do in the Shadows is like 5 seasons or whatever now.
Yeah, I know, but it's great. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Bat. All right. We cut to a
That
museum where a guy on the phone gets ganked by a mummy. The next day, they're investigating the mummy, and they realize that the coffin is from a prop house, and there's a tiny, tiny, tiny bucket of dry ice in the coffin. So take a drink for the tiny, tiny bucket.
that's where the tiny bucket was. I could not find it.
It's the tiny,
That's where
tiny
it was.
bucket.
Tiny,
That's where it
tiny
was. All
bucket.
right. Dean's going to be late for Jamie, so he runs out on Sam. She's waiting in the alley where Dracula shows up. Good evening. I have been waiting for you for a long time. My passion knows no bounds. She pepper sprays him right in the face in what is a beautifully comic timed moment. Dean is like, Jamie, run! And he fights with the Dracula. Mina is mine, Mr. Harker, the Dracula says. As they're fighting, and Dean is almost going to get his neck bit into, he rips the ear off of the Dracula. Dracula takes off, he gets away, and he rides off on a little Vespa. So take a drink. Dracula scooters
Dracula
away.
scooter.
Drac on a scooter. Intermission! Waterfall!
Ooh, I just finished my drink now.
So they're obviously going to a commercial break, but it says intermission and plays a little like bum 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 music for just like for 2 seconds. It's not long.
Yeah, nah, but it's still fun.
It's still fun. So we're back at the bar. Sammy shows up and lets him know that everything's from a prop house. None of it's real. And Dean reveals that he has the ear. It's a shapeshifter. The costumes are all from the
Wow!
prop house too. And she's like, wait a minute, you guys are like Mulder and Scully and the X-Files are real? And Dean says, the X-Files is a TV show. This is real. They realize that the Dracula must be fixated on Jamie. So it must be someone she knows. She suspects, once again, Ed Brewer, the guy from the beginning, because he's kind of a weirdo and he's got a crush on her. So Sammy is going to go investigate Ed Brewer again, while Dean and Jamie get cozy and have a couple drinks. They have a little BM scene together where
Yeah,
Jamie is like, your life sucks. You just go from town to town on your own dime looking for monsters, hoping there are some.
Which this again is coming right before the yellow fever, where Dean has this whole rant about our life sucks. This is why do we do this? Why do we, so this is like foreshadowing for the next episode.
It definitely is. Dean gets a little serious and he's like, I had what I guess you'd call a near-death experience. But now I know I'm on a mission from God. And they go to Smooch City. Smoochy, smoochy, smooch, smooch, smooch.
So I We should look this up. Maybe we'll do it in the bonus content. How many women do you think got to smooch Jensen Ackles through the
I
run of
mean,
this show?
not that
Not many.
many.
Not many. That's why I looked at Abby as I mean, they smooched for a good. The camera was on them for a minute, and I was like, this lucky lady. She just gets to be in the one episode, and she gets to mac out with Jensen Ackles. And like, not many ladies get to say that who've been on the show. Lots of very attractive, very great actors, talented, whatever. She got to have a whole damn makeout scene with him, pretty
More than
much.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you get the one at the end. That's kind of the one I
Mhm.
was thinking about. That's the one that made me go like, man, you really just don't see this often in Supernatural for a show with two beefcake dudes that's like aimed kind of like at women a little bit, mostly kind of, yeah. And you just go like,
They don't do
how,
a lot of
like
smooching.
there's not a lot of smooching going on, which is like cool, but like you'd think that maybe there would have been more. But this the lucky actress got to do it. Good for her.
Oh yeah, she did.
Good for Melinda Sword.
Yep. Oh, we might as well say all the names of everybody. Melinda Swart as Jamie, Michael Eklund as Ed Brewer, Gary Chalk as Sheriff Dietrich, Holly Elisa as the unnamed shapeshifter disguised as a woman called Lucy. Spoiler for what I'm about to say. And Todd
What?
Stashwick as the unnamed shapeshifter disguised as Dracula. So those are all our special cast members. So while we're at Smooch
I
City at the
love.
bar, Lucy comes in and she's like, "Oh, oops, oopsie doopsie. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys." And they're like, "No, stay for a drink." We cut to Sam at the movie theater. It's definitely not Ed. Ed is like playing the piano and he is being very creepy, but then he switches to like a nice samba rhythm. And Sammy's like, "Your ear, it's supposed to come off." And the guy goes, "No, it's not." It's not him. It's not
I
Ed.
just, I just like playing the Casio. He was playing Bach. He was playing what is it? Toccata Fugue in D minor, right? That was the first thing.
If
And
you
then
say
then
so.
it switched to like literally it was. And then it switches to literally like one of the like preset buttons that you would hit on a Casio. And
Hmm.
it was awesome. I loved the whole transition. I loved like the shadows and everything they did. It was good. It was fun. I also not to give free advertisement to a random business, but anytime they play that piece at Oregon Stop Pizza, it kind of blows me away. Just because it's a giant building that's in Oregon and it plays a piece of music literally meant for Oregon, which not many pieces of music are. Anyway, weird music.
Yeah, I love it.
I love music and classical music, and so like it did such a good, and it goes, and that piece is used in movies all the time. Like it's one of the most famous pieces of music uh, uh, of all time, and especially in our 20th 21st century world where it was used plenty in all sorts of pop culture.
All right, a little music education in today's show. Back
Yeah.
at the bar, we're having drinks. Jamie passes out. We see the smoochy napkin one more time, take a drink, and before Dean passes out, and he realizes that Lucy is the shapeshifter. What? That's how she knows so much about Jamie. Bum, bum,
Oh
bum,
my
bum.
gosh, what? No one could have seen that coming. It wasn't very obvious the whole time.
Yep. We cut to the monster's lair where Dean is all tied up in lederhosen and he's about to get Frankenstein. Dracula monologues. Take a drink.
So, the shapeshifter changed Dean's clothes?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Dean calls him a pumpkin pie eyed crazy son of a bitch. And he says, "I am all monsters. Monsters in the movies are elegant, and he chooses to be elegant. He's about to electrocute Dean when ding dong, it's a pizza delivery. Which is a
Which is
brilliant.
the funniest scene.
Yes.
Oh,
There's no
you have
garlic
brought the
on this
repairs.
pizza. Yes. I have a
Excellent.
coupon.
Continue to be in such.
It's so good.
Yeah, the coupon bit at the end. Oh, that was so funny. Oh man.
Sammy comes back to the bar. He finds the evidence and the smoochy napkin, and he puts it together that it must be Lucy. So he must figure out where Lucy lives and then go to her house. Like, how does he know where to go?
I don't know. I tried. I thought about it for 2 seconds and then stopped thinking about it.
Okay. Anyway, he figures out where to go. Jamie wakes up and she has a nice little scene with Dracula, who's like, "Oh, put on this beautiful gown I have bought for you and we will dine. We're having pizza." She doesn't want to put on the gown, and suddenly he's like, "Put on the gown." "Oh, I scared you. You're the one person I didn't want to scare." Finally, Sammy finds them. He finds the house and he's looking through the house. Jamie puts on the gown and Dracula is suddenly normal. We have a nice BM scene, a boy melodrama scene with Dracula, where he is giving his monologue about how his dad called him a monster and tried to kill him with a shovel, and he decided if he was going to be a monster, then he might as well be the kind of monsters that he likes, and he likes the monster movies, and he says monster about 1,000,000 times, and so you take about 1,000,000 drinks.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Jamie gets knocked out. Sam finds Dean wearing the lederhosen. They free him. He
She's
kicks
in a
down the
real that's like
door.
a real King Kong gown.
It is a
Like,
very King Kong
that
gown.
she's in. Yeah, it's very
Yes.
like King Kong. Yeah.
They kick down the door and realize it's a fake door. They have a big fight with the shape-shifting monster. Jamie gets the gun and shoots him. "Silver bullets," he says. "'Twas beauty killed the beast. Perhaps this is the way the movie should end." And we iris out again. Then we have the biggest smoochy scene I've ever seen in a supernatural movie, where Dean and Jamie are
It
saying
is the
goodbye.
biggest. It has to be.
And
Has to
she's
be
like,
the biggest.
"You guys saved my life. Thanks." And he says, "Well, we saved the day. The monster got ganked. It's a happy ending with a happy ending. Gross, Dean."
Yeah.
And they say, "Yeah, it was great to be in a movie, but it's not the movie I would pick." And Sammy says, "I know the movie you would pick." Dean says, "You don't know what movie I would pick." And he goes, "Porky's 2." And apparently that's right.
Yep.
And that's Monster Movie.
Yay.
So how did our rules play out? How many times did you count them say monster?
16 times.
Oh, that's way more than I got.
16 times. It was literally Abby and I both sat here and like we kind of like try to keep the tally together.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, like I said, I had been at a work meeting right before this, so work meetings tend to mean that I was already ganking some drinks before watching,
Mm-hmm.
and so we just like it was just like, oh, monster, and like one of us would grab the pen and pick it and write. Yeah, it was a team effort to catch
Wow.
them all. And it's like, if I didn't have the subtitles, I don't think I always, obviously we talk about like we watch with the subtitles. Sophie, we always watch with the subtitles, and
Sophie objects to how many times the word monster was said.
yes, she does. She yeah, it was a lot, but it was a good, I mean, because like all your other ones were mostly
Ones. Ones and twos.
a couple times, yeah, ones and twos, so it was good to have a good hero rule.
Yeah. Big Pretzel happened once. Agent Names happened twice. Smoochy Napkin happened 3 times. How many times did you count a comically big cup?
4 times.
4 times. That's exactly what I got. How many times did they say
Nice.
vampire?
I got 6 for vampire.
I got 6 too. Only one
Nice.
time they talk about being rehymenated. Only one
Yep.
time there's a tiny bucket. Only one time Drac on a
Which I didn't
scooter.
even. We missed.
Yeah, it's in the mummy coffin.
In the coffin. Okay.
Monster kills 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah,
I got 2.
the Dracula victim, the werewolf victim, and the mummy victim.
Oh, the mummy victim. Duh. Yeah. We must have not done the mummy. We must have not been watching during the mummy scene because we didn't get tiny bucket or didn't count the kill.
There's 3 villain monologues, and they say gank once.
Yep.
So that's it.
Sweet.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Nah, that was good. And like having the monster one was fun because it then became a real challenge to like literally sit and like I was reading the whole thing to make sure I caught as many monsters as I could.
So what are we doing next?
What are we doing next, Krissy? Oh my gosh. Well, the last episode that I got to choose, I chose season 11, episode 7, Plush. Now, we're not doing that again because we just did it. But in a just you and I talking, and we're talking about our favorite episodes, and we're talking about ones that we really like. We both love the episode that comes right after Plush. And so that's what we kind of decided we were going to do.
Yeah.
Because we're going to do season 11, episode 8, Just My Imagination.
Excellent. It's the Imaginary Friends episode.
Great, super fun. Yeah, the Imaginary Friends episode. So the rules for this episode are going to be what I'm deeming as a xenocidal attack.
Okay.
That's the first rule. Anytime we have a flashback. Xenocidal? Okay. I can't read my own handwriting. Xena. Whatever the being is called.
Okay.
We will make sure we get it right in the episode. Next week. Anytime there's a flashback, we're taking a drink.
Okay.
You're chugging your drink, or you're finishing your drink, or you're taking a shot. You're doing a little extra for the air guitar.
Excellent.
We're taking a drink for indignant Dean. So anytime Dean is just real flippant or indignant about the whole situation.
Okay.
Taking a drink. Quote, ever think. Taking a drink.
Ever think.
And yeah, anytime they say ever think.
Okay.
And then cage talk.
Okay.
Those are our rules.
Wow, after so many in my last episode, you have so few for yours.
Yeah, you had so many rules in yours, and now I feel like maybe I'm not getting the most out of it, but like I mean I sometimes I feel like I get a little too wrapped up in my first watch through or when I'm doing making up the rules and then I don't catch some things. But if I add anything, I'll let you know at the beginning of the next episode. But I don't think I will.
Okay.
I think these are all pretty good. I think several of them will hit a couple times, and then one of them is going to hit quite a bit, and then another one's kind of going to be okay. So. But yeah, if I think of anything else in my next watch through, and I'll add it on at the beginning of the next episode, and you'll have to watch it all over again.
Yay! Thank you so much for ganking and dranking with us. Like we said, please rate, review, especially on Apple Podcasts. We don't have very many reviews on there. I'd love to get some more. If you're still with us all the way to the end here, consider becoming a member on True Story FM. Help us keep this podcast going. Show a little love. We appreciate you so much. On True Story FM, you can also find our other podcasts, the Most Excellent 80s Movies podcast and the Cool Time Dice Hour. Nate, where can people find us if they want to see us do some comedy?
Ooh, if you want to see us do comedy, you should come to the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in downtown Mesa, Arizona. You can find all the showtimes and details at nctphoenix.com, but 7:30 on Fridays and Saturday nights every week. That's guaranteed. And then there's other fun things that happen around that. So come check us out because we do a lot of fun stuff. It really is. It's so much fun. I just sometimes some weeks you take it for granted, but like some weeks are just so much fun, and some nights are so much fun that like 13 whatever years of doing it, and like it's still I just get such a rush and kick out of it. I
Oh,
love it. I
yay.
love it. Yeah,
Yay. Come
yeah,
see us.
yeah. Come see
Um,
us.
and while you're out there in the world saving people and hunting things, you know the family business. Keep the Gank That Drank motto in mind. Be excellent to each other and party on, dude.
Party on, dudes.